welcome to my channel. I'm Katie and this is the Booktube Newbie Tag. The first question is, why did you start this channel? So, kind of funny, I didn't even know Booktube existed until a few months ago, and I really wanted to get more books for my students and find books that they like, because a lot of the books I like were too mature for them or classics, and I teach middle schoolers, so a lot of them like aren't really into classics. So I wanted to look for like YA books for them, and basically my life exploded with figuring out Booktube and following some really top booktubers, and now my reading has increased significantly since following Booktube. And I just decided this January, I was like, I'm gonna just make my own channel, because now I'm reading all these books and I have no one to talk to about it other than sometimes some of my students who really like to read. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I'm a pretty modest person, so I don't really know. I mean, I'm silly. And I will always act like myself, so I'm not saying that other booktubers aren't like that. So I don't know, it's very hard for me to like toot my own horn, but I do come from like an educator's perspective as well. Another thing that I don't always find on Booktube, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, please like let me know, is I don't feel like there are as many mature booktubers, and I am not like putting down younger booktubers. I think that is awesome that they're doing this, but sometimes I'm 30 and sometimes I want recommendations from someone in my like age group, just because we're going through different things at 30 than we are at 20. And not to say that those 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds haven't given me amazing recommendations, just sometimes I want something that's very like geared towards my demographic. Next question is, what are you most excited about for this channel? And honestly, just talking about books and gushing about books and being totally nerdy, and I love books, and then I can talk about it even if no one watches. Just talking about it, even to a camera, feels awesome. Next question is, why do you love reading? I love reading for escapism. I like to live vicariously through characters. I also look forward to, or I try to emulate characters that I really respect in my life. I read Jane Eyre when I was in 9th grade, and I feel like a lot of my life, not to be Jane Eyre, but she has really been a major influence on the life I lead and how I try to treat others and how I try to always do what's right. Even though I'm a Ravenclaw, not a Gryffindor. But, well, would Jane be, I don't know, would Jane be a Ravenclaw or a Gryffindor? That would be a fun video to do, like your favorite book characters, what house are they in? Oh man, I'm gonna do that. The next question is, what book or series got you into reading? So as a child, definitely Harry Potter. I read The Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets in like 5th grade, and then I got totally obsessed in middle school, and that was Uther Goblet of Fire. And then after 8th grade graduation, I remember because I had a sprained ankle and I couldn't walk, Order of the Phoenix came out. And then in high school, Half-Blood Prince, and then literally like right after I graduated high school, then Deathly Hallows came out. I'm a Potterhead. I love Harry Potter. I mean, even so much, like I was so obsessed, like that everyone knew. And my coach, my soccer coach in high school, would give gag gifts at the end at your banquet, and he gave me a little like steel pot with a mustache because it's a Harry Pot. Another series that I really loved in middle school through high school, and then as I got older, I was like, okay, this isn't really as great as I thought it was, but it really did get me into contemporary YA, is the Georgia Nicholson books. If you're not sure what that is, the first book is called Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging, and there's 10 of them, and George is just like an insane British teenager. But it got me, I was really into like Bridget Jones at the time too, and just British culture, and I learned all the British slang, and I just really love those books, so much so that one of the characters is called Dave the Laugh because he's like funny, so they all call him Dave the Laugh. And he would always say, "I'm away laughing on a fast camel," when he would like leave, like just leave a room or something. That was my senior quote in high school. It's literally in this yearbook right here. Yeah, maybe I'll show one day. So, I mean, even if now looking back, I'm a little bit, I don't know if those books really hold up after the teenage years. They had a major influence on my life. And they're by Louise Renison, by the way. Renison? Yeah. As an adult, I've still really loved reading for fun, but I was getting headaches all the time when reading, and until recently, like a year ago, I finally got an optometrist who was like, okay, let's figure it out, because I've been to the optometrist before, and they've just been like, your eyes are fine, you're 20/20 vision, and we figured out I needed the very slightest reading glasses to stop eye strain from happening, and that's also when I got into Booktube, and so now I've just been reading nonstop, and I think the Darker Shade of Magic series was the first, I liked all the, honestly, the first 10 books I read based off of YouTubers were amazing, but I think the Darker Shade of Magic series is like, oh my god, I love it so much. And also I went back and read the Anna Green Gables series, which I love so much. Next question is, what questions when you ask your favorite booktubers? Honestly, like, thing is, like, I can come up with ideas and I can talk about books all day, but what I'm not good at is making people watch my video. And like, I don't know, I'm not here for like the fame, but like it does feel awesome and amazing when like, you know, someone's watching your video. So maybe how long did it, just out of curiosity, how long did it take you to get to 100 subscribers? Because I'm at like 17 after like 10 videos. So I mean, I don't know. The next question is, what challenges do you think will be the hardest to overcome on Booktube? And I think definitely just finding the time to film. Not even edit, because I can like sit down in bed and edit, but honestly when I'm filming I want to feel good about myself, so that kind of means I need to like put on makeup and just present myself in a way that I like. Not that it has anything to do like with being judged when I'm not wearing makeup, but when I'm looking at myself, like I want to feel good about myself. So and I love makeup, so it's fun to play with it. So yeah, so that's definitely just finding the time after like a long day of teaching 12-year-olds. I teach history, by the way, and just finding the time to sit down, set up the camera, clean the space in the area, because this looks fine, but everything out there is crazy. Next question is, when did I start reading? I was 4 or 5, kindergarten, maybe a little bit before kindergarten. My mother is an avid reader. She loves mystery, and it's funny because like I really enjoy mystery, but I just don't go to it as much because I think she's trained me really well to where I'm like, oh, it's not that surprising. And I don't get as annoyed in non-mysteries when I figure out what's gonna happen, just because I'm like, it's not a mystery, like the whole point isn't just to be like a twist, you know? But yeah, I still remember the very first book I read was called The Teddy Bear Tree, and there were like teddy bears that grew from this tree, and I remember like one bear was missing an eye, and I remember reading that book. It was the first book I checked out from the school library, and I remember sitting on my mom's bed with her and reading it together, and I've been looking for a copy, and I can only find them on eBay for like 25 bucks. I might just do it because I think it would be a really fun reading vlog, like rereading the first book I ever read, because I don't really remember a whole lot about it. Other than that, I don't even remember the author's name. Next book is, where do you read? Wherever I can, usually in my bed. But I listen to audiobooks. I really like to go between audiobook and reading visually. So if it's on Scribd, I will finish the book twice as fast because I'll listen to the audiobook on the way to work and from work, and then when I get home I'll read, or sometimes if I have a headache I'll just listen to the audiobook. Next is, what kind of books do you like to read? All of them. I like YA fantasy, YA contemporary, adult fantasy, adult contemporary, adult historical fiction. I like some middle grade. So I like pretty much all genres. Like, I'll do sci-fi as well, mystery slash thriller, that's fine. I really liked The Girl on the Train, and I liked Big Little Lies, so that kind of falls in those categories. So yeah, I like a lot. I would say, like, my heart really goes out to fantasy, isn't this the same thing? Fantasy, adult contemporary, and historical fiction. And then fantasy can be YA or adult. Like, I usually don't care if it's YA or adult. Like, I don't discriminate. Alright, so that has been my Booktube Newbie Tag. I hope you enjoyed this. Please feel free to subscribe or comment down below. And I hope to see you soon. Thanks.